an 8 on the Enneagram. I love saying hard things. I wish everybody liked having these kinds of conversations, but they don't. So here are 3 tips for you on how to say hard things. What's up, y'all? It's your girl KB. In general, right now, there are a lot of heavy elephant-sized conversations being had, whether it be about injustice, race, loss, disappointment, betrayal, frustration, trash friends, you toxic, whatever it might be. People are talking about hard things all the time, or at least should be, because as far as I'm concerned, life is always presenting opportunities for difficulty, right? Today's got enough trouble of its own. We don't even have to think about tomorrow. So there are hard things to talk about. But for some reason, we're not actually having those hard conversations. Part of the reason is because people don't know how to do it. They either don't know how to have hard conversations, they don't want to have hard conversations, or they're just not good at having hard conversations. And that's fine. I've got 3 tips that I think will be helpful for you if you're trying to lean in to the hard conversation. 1, get context. If you're not considering yourself, the other person, or the circumstances, it will be difficult to navigate a hard conversation. You've got to get context for the issue. You've got to get context for where you are. Am I in a good place to have this conversation right now? Are they in a good place to have this conversation right now? It will also help you to empathize, to think about this, to go into a conversation considering that the other person might not think what you think. I struggled with this. Like, what are you talking about? Everybody don't think what I think? What's wrong with y'all? Everybody don't think what you think. Everybody don't believe what you believe. Everybody doesn't value what you value. So I'm just suggesting that if you think about all of these things before you go into the hard conversation, you will set yourself up for success. 2, just say it. The art of having hard conversations involves you actually saying the hard thing. This is where we put a lot of our energy and effort, typically mustering up all the courage that we got inside of us to just say the thing. So how you say the thing is going to be impacted by your cultural values, by just your perspective, okay? If you are a direct communicator, you might not have as hard of a time with this step. Maybe step 1 is going to be your issue because you just want to get to the conversation. And I feel you. If you're an indirect communicator, you're going to have bushes that you are beating around for a while. So maybe you'll have to work really, really hard on this part to just say the thing. Again, it'll be harder to just say the thing if you haven't done step 1 to get context for what the issue really is. Not just on the surface, but right down there at the root. So you've got direct communicators and indirect communicators. You also have people who value intent versus impact. So for someone, intent is going to be motivating what they say. My intentions are good, so that is what is driving my motivation to communicate this hard thing to you. For another person, if they're valuing the impact of what you're gonna say, it might be a little harder for them to say it because they're like, the effect that what I have to say is going to have on the other person matters a lot to me. And if I don't think that the impact of what I'm saying is going to be beneficial, I'm not gonna wanna say it. You've got to know how you're wired, what you're valuing. Again, going back to step 1, if you're getting context for yourself, for what you wanna talk about, what it is that you value and what the person values, it'll be easier to know what you're up against going into the conversation or what you need to work really hard on in having the conversation. 3, after you said the thing, all the hard stuff is out, it's on the table. You have got to do this last thing. You have to spend some intentional time making sure that both people have understanding. And all you're getting, get understanding. Because a lot of people, they do a lot of work to say it and then they both walk away. And who knows what the person heard. I thought you said this. I thought you said this. We're all seeing life through different lenses. We're perceiving things through our experiences, through narrative. There are so many things impacting how we receive and process information. So at the end of a difficult conversation, you have to have some time built in to make sure that everybody has understanding and clarity about what was said, about intention if that is in question. You don't want to leave a hard conversation with the emotional tension piece of it. And we see it all the time in media, in movies. The hard thing comes out and then they go their separate ways. At some point, we need to make sure that understanding and clarity is there. Because when you have clarity, you can move forward. You can see clearly what, again, the objective and the end goal is. And you can also see the other person clearly. You don't want a hard conversation to start to cloud how you're seeing the person you had the hard conversation with. And so you want to make sure that the hard conversation is just that, the hard conversation, and that the person is now not everything that you feel about the hard conversation. I hope that this helps. There is an art to saying hard things, and I have failed at saying hard things well for a very long time. Still fail today sometimes. However, it is possible to say hard things. And there are a lot of hard things that need to be said right now on your job, at church, in your marriage, relationships, friendships, dating, all of it. Hard conversations are everywhere for us to have. We just want to make sure that we're doing the work to have them well. If you want to know how to do more of this kind of stuff, you can always become a Heart Convos member. Becoming a member will allow you not only to get content like this, but to get more in-depth content and an opportunity to talk to me every month about whatever it is that you want to talk about. So become a Heart Convos member today. The link is in my bio, or you can go to heartconvos.com. Anyway, I love y'all. Please remember, it's not a hard conversation, it's a heart conversation, y'all.